minute. Who are you?
What's going on, everybody? Evan Money here again with JC the Blind Jedi.
Hey, everybody.
And we are here with our UFC 259 review. And yeah.
Wow, mind blown. We're going to have a lot of fun discussing this one. We have everything. We have some highs, some lows. We have some surprises. We have a Montreal screw job ending. So let's dig into this one.
Okay, so the first fight was Thiago Santos versus
Alexander Rakic.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, we were both wrong. Second of all, man, just skip this fight. Oh, God.
Hit the snooze button and stay asleep.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you know, Parlor if you're angry. I don't know, but anything is better than this. God. Oh my God, this was two guys afraid to hit each other.
It was a poor performance. No matter who won,
on anybody's side.
Everybody looked bad. Rakic came up with the unanimous decision, but honestly, he couldn't have felt good about it. They gave him his brown belt afterwards for grappling, but there was hardly any grappling whatsoever.
Yeah, there was clinch work up against the fence. Nothing, no takedowns, nothing nothing on the ground, nothing like that. There was some clinch work up against the fence, a couple things, and quite honestly, I thought Thiago Santos got the better of that coming out of those clinches.
Yeah. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. There's nothing to talk about with this fight. Absolutely nothing. There's no highlight, anything like that. You know, Santos is coming off of a major knee surgery, so I understand the thought of like maybe not wanting to
being gun shy.
Yeah, maybe not wanting to throw his famous leg kicks.
Because he should have.
Oh man, we could have stayed. We could have just not turned on the pay-per-view and been perfectly fine. And the
prelims were so much easier to watch than this.
Yeah, prelims were good. But I mean, like I said, you know, in the predictions, this card is so hyped up that it's got so much to live up to.
There's the opportunity that it's
going to let us down.
And this is not how you open up a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
This was a big letdown.
So we were wrong about this. You know, Ricky said something about, you know, he was upset because he wanted to do more grappling. Well, I wanted you to do more fighting.
We wanted fighting out of anybody, man. This wasn't as bad as the Ngannou-Lewis fight, but it was close.
It was close.
It was close. There was hardly any engagement, any real punches thrown, nobody received any real damage. Rakic had a couple of good, you know, open shots where he was able to either slip Santos or get past his guard, but other than that, when Santos hit, it looked like a bomb. But there weren't enough of them. So yeah, you know, I was even more wrong. I was like, you know, whoever wins this fight, he's got the next title shot. No. We were like, both, no. Give it to Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
We're both unanimous on that. So Glover Teixeira deserves the next title shot. We were going to give it to one of these guys, but no. These guys get like a Reyes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is, you know, cue Peter Griffin on what I thought of this fight the second after every round. You know, this right here.
About a bridge.
That's exactly what I thought. And I mean, you can hear it in our voices. There was nothing exciting about this.
Yeah. I'm gonna go watch an insurance seminar to get excited real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the next fight was Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober. And thankfully, we're awake again. So this was exactly the way I thought it was going to go. Islam was going to come out. He was going to, you know, stand up for a little bit, you know, see where he was. And then he was going to take him down and assert his dominance.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he did. It did not look good in the first round. He took him right down in the middle of the ring. and Drew played defense the whole time. There wasn't really much of an advancement of it, but it was obvious that he was literally on his back playing defense the whole round.
Yeah, there was no chance of Drew getting up, and you know, we kind of jokingly said, like, obviously with the Khabib factor there, I mean, he looks like Khabib, so crazy, because Drew looks like a great prospect. He looks like a great guy that's going to be coming up at some point. Just a bad matchup for him on this.
Wow, he literally just, man, if you had any pride in your wrestling, you don't anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this was just, and it, you know, there was a point where, and it wasn't like Dober was just some fish, dude. He put up and at one point he thought he had shook Islam off of him. Yeah. Remember? And we were like, oh, and he even called it, oh, we got out. And Islam said, no, we're going right back to the ground. I'm going to put you right back down. And he stayed in top control the whole time. Rolled back over with him. Second round, more of the same. And now we got ground and pound.
Yeah, ground and pound in there.
Elbows, short punches.
Everything in the second round was basically just, hey, I'm wearing you out now. And, you know, third round comes around. Drew was gassed. You could tell he was gassed. He tried to throw
a couple of good bombs.
Caution to the wind, and it didn't work. He got taken down again in the third, and he tried to go for a Kimura, but I think it was more of trying to get, you know...
try to escape.
Yeah, I think it was more to try to...
It was a position Kimura.
Yeah.
It was...
And ended up getting himself in... They classified it as an arm triangle. You know, for this, you know, I think this is a good move for Islam to get this win. Clearly shows that he's way ahead of everybody.
Oh, he's up there. He's up there.
I had kind of mentioned before we sat down that I'd like to see him go up against maybe a guy like Dan Hooker or even Tony Ferguson.
I'd kind of like a little bit more of Tony. I just think I don't want to. I just don't want to give up the farm on Tony. I know he's punch drunk.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give up on Tony yet. I think Tony's a better matchup and would give Islam a better fight. I think Islam would do the same thing here. I think he would destroy Hooker, and then Hooker would be putting his gloves up and quitting, because that's just, man, that was just dominance. Wow.
No, it was an amazing fight. Okay, so the first title fight of the night, Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. And first I want to point out, we were correct. Aljamain won, not in the fashion in which we thought it was going to be. Yan threw an illegal knee, a very vicious illegal knee.
A very blatant illegal knee.
And got himself disqualified. From the fight itself, Aljamain coming out in the first 3 rounds really pushed the action, threw Piotr off quite a bit, had him backpedaling quite a bit, but he looked like he had some nerves, had the big light jitters kind of getting to him. Okay. Everything looked kind of sloppy from Aljamain.
Yes,
but he was the aggressor.
He was,
he was scoring quite a bit.
But literally, it didn't look like it was really his fight.
Piotr was starting to come on. He was the fight.
He really was. Okay, so in wrestling, there's always one match where there's a big swerve. This was it. This is the big swerve. This was the ending we weren't expecting. Congratulations to Aljamain Sterling.
Okay, so the co-main event, Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson, and like he thought Amanda was going to win. You know, again, like I said,
this was what, a minute?
Yeah. There's not really much to talk about. Her greatness is there.
Amanda punched her in the face, and Megan went, "What was that?"
Yeah. You know, I was telling my nephew downstairs. I said, really, the reason why I picked against Amanda, because I'm not really that foolish enough to believe that she was going to lose, is to give people more of a spotlight other than just us agreeing, because we both, even after we filmed the video, we both agreed that, yeah, Amanda was going to win. And even before that, I knew he was already going to pick her. If we were keeping like a actual record of how many times we were right, I would never count against Amanda. So, with that being said, she's cleaned out the 145 division.
They were just talking on, Joe and DC was like, what's the rankings? There are no 145 rankings. She's cleaned out the division.
Like I said, the big issue is they're going to have to figure out what they want to do with that division. And, you know, as long as if Dana can keep finding people to bring in, you know, Amanda will keep dishing out ass whoopings left and right.
Yeah, you know, like DC said, man, I'll take all your money.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's fine by me, man. I'll hold on to this until you want me to give it away. Jeez, that was, man, dominance. Absolute dominance. Oh, by the way, she won with a head and arm triangle. She literally had her in a reverse triangle and an arm bar at the same time.
Yeah. The second she put the arm behind her back, Megan immediately tapped.
And she's like, no. And then and then Amanda brought the baby into the ring, and it was great. It was great, you know. I mean, congratulations to Amanda. Wow, that's dominance. You're the female GOAT.
Yeah.
Okay. So the main event was Israel Adesanya challenging for the 205-pound strap carried by Jan Blachowicz. So yeah, this went all 5 rounds. This was a long, drawn-out fight, and this did not go the way I thought it was. Congratulations to Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, I think, you know, I had talked about how he should be kind of getting a little bit more respect thrown around. You know, he was coming in as an underdog, which is baffling. You know, it's his division. He's the champion, and he's the underdog against the guy who has to move up 20 pounds. Made no sense to me. I didn't want to take anything away from Israel. I think Israel's one of the best fighters in the world, and is potentially going to be one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the point of him being a favorite other than just people like watching Izzy
name
fight,
recognition.
You know, to me that's definitely a hard thing to get past. You know,
this was the Conor McGregor Nate Diaz one fight. This
Absolutely.
was Conor coming up with all the hype and just looking like a world beater, and all of a sudden somebody just brought him back down to earth and said, "No, you're a human."
Yeah. This
This was the same exact thing. Really, I have to give all the credit to him. He called it. This was a fight between 20 pounds. This is the big difference between a 185er and a 205er.
and
Izzy looked good. He didn't look crisp.
No.
I
You could definitely tell, you know, I stressed as hard as I could about the weight being a factor. And he said even in the post-fight interview that his legs were tired, and he says, "I'm not sure why." Well, I know why. It's because you were carrying more weight.
Yeah.
You weren't
ready to get this weight off.
And I really do think, you know, the fact that he didn't take the weight seriously is the biggest issue. He lost because he didn't take it serious. He didn't want to move. He didn't want to put on any weight. He wanted to goof off and be like, "Well, I'm going to stay at my walking around weight, and that's going to be it." I think if you're going to make a move that big, you have to commit to the fact that you should try and be as close to that weight so you feel ready. You know, even if he wouldn't have cut any weight at all, making sure, hey, I'm sitting at 205 right now.
I don't think I would have done any damn bit of good. Blachowicz was easily 220 pounds, 225 pounds in this weight, and he used it. Let's talk about what happened in this fight. In the first round, it was a nice little back and forth. There wasn't really much to talk about. In the second round, Izzy opened up and he started tagging on Blachowicz. But it wasn't overbearing.
No.
But it was Izzy was getting the better of the striking exchanges.
He was definitely the faster striker,
and he was getting he was tagging. And in the 4th round, he was doing the same thing. And then in the middle of the round, at the 3-minute mark, Jan shot a double leg takedown and took him down and held him there until the end of the round. And then in the 5th round, the same exact thing happened.
Yeah.
And in the 5th round, it was even worse because he actually got top mount and started raining some hammer fists right before the last few seconds of the bell.
Izzy tried to throw a bridge and let out a giant. Oh.
Yeah, he was just undersized.
Yeah.
This was an improper idea, and I think this is why we spent so much time rambling about this at the end of the predictions video.
Yeah.
This makes a bad thing so much more complicated if he's going to do this. Now that he's got a loss behind it, fine, great. Let's stay at 185 and do that. Don't come up here, man. These guys are some monsters up here.
Yeah.
205. Now, on to Jan Blachowicz. Way to go, man. Talk about executing a game plan and doing well with it.
Yeah. Even, and like you said, even in the striking exchanges, even though Izzy was getting the better shots and landing more shots, Jan was still tagging him.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't.
You could tell some of the punches that were hitting Izzy. I mean, they were
stumbling
strong.
him. They were popping him.
Again, Jan's ready for Glover. I know we had talked about,
Glover was there weighed in just in case somebody couldn't make it, and he's ready to go, and he deserves the next title shot. He's a #1 contender.
Yep.
He's beat everybody that we've watched on the fight nights. He deserves the next title shot. Blachowicz said, I'd be more than honored and happy to take him on, so that's the next fight to make.
Yeah. As far as Izzy is concerned, there's some talks with Whitaker, maybe again, now that he's coming up. Even Cannonier might be an option. Personally, though, we have, here in a couple weeks, we have Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland, and I think if Kevin Holland gets that done...
which I think he will.
I do, too. I think that gives him a case, and now it almost kind of seems like you kind of have a little bit more of a blueprint on how to handle Izzy.
Yes, and like I said, if Blachowicz wins, now he goes back down, and all those 185ers are salivating. You're like, oh, now I know why I got to go and get a wrestling degree.
This is a true moment for Adesanya because it's very clear that he's going to have to make sure that he works on avoiding the takedowns.
Yeah, I don't. I've seen tons of. For the past year and a half now, we've seen tons of Israel Adesanya training videos. You know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen him in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gi once.
Yeah, he claims he's a purple belt, and the reason why I say claims is because I haven't seen anything official or anything like that. When people talk about belts, it's hard to really actually confirm whether they're or not if they haven't competed in a competition. Plus you have so many fakes out there in the martial arts world that are fake black belts. But I think this brought up a good point. I was very, very a big proponent on. I didn't think that Israel Adesanya could beat a guy like John Jones, and I think this proved it more because. And
John would have done the same thing, and to a much far successful degree, and he would have ragdolled Izzy at this. And John, first of all, John would have been 230 pounds walking into that, and second of all, he would have dismantled Izzy at this point. Israel Adesanya, great. He's a great fighter. 185. I still like him, but man, you're a long way to go before you start talking smack on John Jones again.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, I mean that was UFC 259.
Oh my gosh,
it was amazing. Like I said, there was some lows in there, a lot of highs. One huge, disgusting disappointment for us. But I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It didn't live up to the hype that I thought it was going to, but that's okay because we have 2 fight nights, and then we have the next pay-per-view which is, you know, Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou 2. And then we also have
Volkanovski
versus Ortega. So, you know, we got another 2 title fights coming up at the end of the month, which I think is going to be amazing. And, you know, I'm excited for it. So
this is going to be exciting. All right, I cannot wait for the rest of this month.
Yeah, so we will be back, and
I'll see you here in a couple weeks to go over 260.
Yep, 260,
right.
And we'll see you then. So
until then, I'm JC the Blind Jedi.
Evan Money. Remember the name.